Shiko Kashambo here. I'm the managing partner at Liases Partners. We are a business process management and partnership relationship management firm that helps businesses effectively manage their resources to achieve their objectives. Today with me on our second episode, we have Dr. Nataliey Bitature, a Chief of Staff at Simba Group. Nataliey has a vast experience in numerous projects, including being a teacher at St. Teresa, being a co-founder of Handymen Uganda, and also being a founder at Musana cards. Welcome, Nataliey, to our second episode.
Thank you for having me.
Today we shall be talking about business process management in relation to your experience and your current work. With that, probably we shall have to go through a couple of questions. So we shall have two questions, and after these two questions, the viewers will be able to submit any queries or any questions at info@liasedpartners.com. Nataliey also happens to have private coaching where she trains women in her project. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes, where she does public speaking, she does self-awareness, she has quite a number of other courses that she has, and you can find them at www.natalieyBitature.com.
Yes.
Welcome, Nataliey.
My pleasure to be here.
So, probably you could have a brief introduction about yourself to our viewers so they can understand you better for those who do not know you.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, in my capacity as Chief of Staff of Simba Group,
Yeah.
Simba Group is a family-owned business that's been in Uganda for over 20 years. We work in telecom, hospitality, real estate, and energy. Musana Carts is a solar street food vending company where we provide street food carts for Rolex vendors and now chicken vendors and fish vendors as well. We also provide training for them in hygiene and sanitation, marketing and customer service, and financial literacy. With Handymen Uganda, we provide training for local fundis like carpenters, electricians, plumbers, and then we're sort of like a client batch service where if a customer has a house or a building that needs renovation or needs work or maintenance, then we are the people to call.
That's interesting. So that covers a lot of aspects when it comes to business process management. So the first question here we have for you is, what is the link between an organization strategy and business process management? And this can range from Musana cards, can range from Handymen, and your current position as Chief of Staff at Simba Group.
Okay. I think I'm lucky because I work with small startups and also with established older companies. I get to see the different strategies that we use.
Yes.
But you need both organizational strategy and business process management regardless of what you're trying to do.
That's true.
So with the organizational strategy, that's more about how you're going to allocate resources. That's like the long-term plan. So quarterly, I'll sit with the team. With Simba Group, we have board meetings. With Musana, her Handymen, we meet like with my co-founder or with the management team. And that's more understanding. What do we want to achieve over the next quarter? What do we need? Is it money? Is it time? Is it support? What other resources? Do you need a consultant for this? Do you need a different fabricator? Do we need to import a part? Like trying to understand where we're trying to go.
Yes.
And with the bigger companies in Simba Group, that's what we discuss at board meetings.
Yes.
So you do a review of how the last quarter went,
Yes.
and then you also set the strategy for the next quarter.
Yes.
And at that level is where you get the approvals for the
Yes.
big things,
Yes.
so that you know which direction you're moving in.
Yes.
The business process management is more about the day-to-day operations and how systems are running. You know, it's funny, SOPs is now like a big thing in Uganda because of COVID, but we've been dealing with this for so long.
Yeah, for a couple of years.
So working with Mario especially showed me how SOPs are so important. So everything that happens in a hotel, there is an SOP. You have to put the fork exactly like this and the plate exactly like this.
Yes.
You have to clean from the left to the right. There's like a procedure and a checklist for everything.
Yes.
So to them, it's a much more detailed process because they have brand standards all over the world. So they have a really good system. So it was really exciting for me to understand and see the whole world of how you can do this on such a big scale.
Yes.
But all companies do this on a much smaller scale.
Yes.
So we've been doing this in Musana, for example. We have documents for onboarding a vendor. So the whole manual shows from how you advertise and market, how you talk to a customer before they become a vendor. Then the moment someone says, I want a vendor, there is point by point what you have to do.
Yes.
Because you have to have systems in place so that you're not firstly relying on one individual's mood or personality or what they're doing that day.
Yes.
There is a process. And then it also makes sure that all the customers get a good service and you're sure that it's standardized. Just because a vendor called one person instead of another does not mean they should get a different experience.
True.
So that things like the price is the same, the process, they get the same documents for each of them, they get the same level of training. So it's a huge, huge part of business, I think, and it's something that people don't value. You just take it for granted because you just keep going and getting on with things.
Yeah.
Oh, we need to do this, let's do it this way.
Yeah.
But it's really important to have good systems in place, especially when you want to scale up or when the companies are big. Like I am responsible for so many companies. If I was trying to micromanage or just let everyone do what they wanted in each company and we see who sells the most, it wouldn't work.
True that. And that's a very interesting way to put it, and thank you for that. In addition to that, allow me to just add a smaller part of the question to it. Having been a founder, you are management. And then you have to work with a board that's another group of management as well. How do you ensure the buy-in of the board with things that have to do with change in processes or change in systems or any standardizations as opposed to you as a manager?
Interesting. So as a manager, my job is to work with my team.
Yes.
So I can't just change a process because I think I need to or I see a problem. I sit with the team. This is a challenge or this is a complaint we've gotten. How do we go up the process and see where is the bottleneck, where is the issue, where is there a weak point, why did this happen? So as a team we discuss, and then as a team we agree, okay, let's change the procedure, let's change the system, let's change this part in the system, and let's try that out for 2 weeks and see how it goes. If things improve, we keep it that way. If it doesn't, we try something else. So with the team, it's more of a collaborative process, and I'm a big fan of experimenting. I don't think you can just change something and walk away from it. It's important to try something and measure it and see what changes. What was it before? What was it after? What is it improving or not? And get feedback from the customers, from the staff, from everyone involved. When you're dealing with the board, they don't want those kinds of details. But transparency is important. So it's important to say, this, for example, is our sales for this quarter. We sold this many cakes, this much pork, this much this. Those kinds of details, they don't really want. They want to know, how did the outlet do for the month? Why is it lower than last quarter? Or what challenges are you facing? And then it's important to just be able to explain, we had this challenge in the system because this and this happened, and so what we've tried is this is the solution. If you're fine with that, we'll carry forward, and then they can approve it.
That's interesting. So the board just sees the overall picture as opposed to the nitty-gritty of the internal processes. Thank you very much for that. So as Chief of Staff, it brings us to the next question that has to do a lot with, because of the business process management, we have three pillars. We have the people, we have the process, and we have the technology that comes with it. So not every process has to be automated. However, with these three pillars, how then, for you as Chief of Staff, can you be accountable for the process performance?
Accountability is a big part of any kind of system. So you have to be measuring things, and I'm always explaining to my staff or when we do trainings, unless you're measuring something, it's not important to you. It means you're not going to be able to change it, you're not going to be able to improve it, because how do you know? Whenever we have new people and like they'll be in a social media meeting and say, I think this month we did quite well. I'm like, what is quite well? I want a number. Is 10,000 well or is it 100,000? I want you to be able to specifically say, this is what I mean by quite well, which means this is better and this is worse. You can't just leave things that are vague. So it's important, I think, as a manager to be clear about these kinds of processes and systems, and being transparent makes, I feel like accountability is easier, because whoever is the person engaging on a day-to-day with the clients or with the team or that's doing the work on the ground, that is your first person in the field. That's the first person the clients deal with. And then they have to be able to have a strong support system, a manager, a supervisor, a template, a document, an app, a different way that they are putting in information every day. Because you can't have a meeting at the end of the month and they're not trying to remember. This post did well, that one didn't.
No.
So you have to arm people at the beginning with
Yes.
what they need in
Yes.
training,
Yes.
in systems, in
Yes.
expectations.
Yes.
Then at the end of the month, how did this work? What went well? What didn't go wrong? Who is responsible for this? So you have to be really clear about those things up front so that you're able to track it and improve later. And for me, technology really helps because that's the only way I can be involved in so many companies with so many people all the time.
Sure.
So getting the right kind of reports in a timely way, different kinds of software can help, like do it automatically. Sometimes you have to do it manually. I get a lot of Excel sheets.
Sure.
But it's important that you track everything and you keep good records and good files because then you can always go back and see where something went wrong. If something bad happens or you find out that one employee is doing something wrong, you can always go back and see, aha, this is what they were involved in,
Yes.
and this is how you can see it, and now we know what to change.
Sure.
So I feel accountable for everything, which is not always the healthiest way to live,
Yeah.
but I feel like it gives me more responsibility and I'm much more involved with everything. And also, I lead by example. So when my team see how involved I am and how accountable for everything I am, I take the blame in the board meetings when something goes wrong. It's not going to be them. So they understand that, so they also take more responsibility and take their work much more seriously.
That's good. That's a great way to look at things. You lead by example. That's a good takeaway from today. And so our final take on this, or our final question would be, top of the head, given Uganda having so many SMEs, what problems do you see do they face with accountability of process performance?
I feel like SMEs don't even know what process performance is. You have a lot of work to do in your field. Sensitization is important because it makes life so much easier.
Yes.
Once there is a system, there is a document, there is a checklist, even the simplest things. My vendors have checklists. They know what to like. Is this clean? Is this there? Is this good? Like you don't even have to be able to read and write or like speak good English. You can teach people this. They can understand a process. And once you get someone to understand why, that is the difference I've noticed. For example, with Marriott, they give us so many different small specific things. The pillow has to be 10 inches from this side, from that side. And most of the stuff, they don't understand why. They're just like, you just have to do it.
Yeah.
You don't really get why.
Yeah.
But once they understand from the customer experience why Marriott has this rule, it's because when the customer sleeps, they have to feel this, and this has to be closed, and this has to, there's a reason. And then you see them go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now once that clicks, then the system like now perpetuates itself. It's much easier.
Yes.
So you're not just like nitpicking at lots of tiny things.
Yes.
So I think for SMEs, once you understand the value of systems, it's not a thing for big corporates or one day you will get there or it's a waste of money. I actually used to have this problem with my father because he's a founder and he knows what it's like to set up a business from like a tiny shop and do everything himself.
Yes.
And we try and get systems, you're telling him about governance, he's like, those are Muzungu things, they're just going to cost me money, I don't want to hear it. But once you get to show him the value, if you have a system in place, you'll actually save money. This will be better. You'll get better reviews from customer service. Things work faster. Things are more organized. Once you can show him like an app and you open and you can see the daily sales from everywhere, like it's, oh, okay. So I feel like SMEs have to go through that process. You have to understand the value of the system. Don't just say it's not for me or I don't want that without really understanding. It does take time and effort, but I can really vouch for systems because without them, I would not be able to do as many things as I do. Things have to work without you. A lot of management gurus say you have to learn to automate things and delegate things. It's not efficient to do everything yourself or to start the process from scratch every day. You're doing the same thing every day once you're in a business, essentially. So the more efficiently you can do that, the more people you can reach, the more money you'll make.
That's great. That's a great way to look at it. Thank you very much. And that has been so insightful. Thank you very much for everything you have shared with us. Out of curiosity, English teacher, St. Teresa, how has it helped you in your communication, in terms of your strategy, in terms of your operations with your staff?
Communication is something that is key in every business and also in every career. It's something I really emphasize with the ladies that I mentor in her. I had a very passionate English literature teacher when I was in high school, Mrs. Bamarachi, and we fought so much when I was younger, but she taught me so much. To have good command of English and to be able to express yourself with the right word in the right time, it helps you so much in the workspace. You have to be able to communicate what you need, what you want, what you expect. You have to be able to be compassionate, understanding, and also understand how other people communicate.
Yes.
So I feel like communications and emotional intelligence carry forward and go across all sectors, all people. It's so important and it's so helpful. Working at St. Teresa's, it's a school deep in Uganda, in the village.
Okay.
So I had never been to a UNEB school in the village before.
Okay.
And my dad happened to be on the board of that school.
Yes.
And I said, I would love to go and volunteer and work there.
Yes.
And engaging with those girls and understanding their challenges, their struggles, how they communicate, what they feel comfortable with, really opened my eyes to a lot of the challenges we have as a country, because our school system does not encourage communication. You're not supposed to ask the teacher questions. You're not supposed to express how you think or how you feel. There's not much room for creativity, which now makes sense to me as an employer when you have new staff who are scared to come up with their own ideas, or they don't know how to problem solve, or to speak frankly with you.
Sure.
So it's really helped me as a manager to understand this is the context, and so I have to work to make sure this person opens up and they feel comfortable and they have the tools and the skills to express themselves well, to share what they're thinking and feeling, so that we can work together as a team and then everyone benefits.
That's great. That's great. Thank you, English teacher. So we have had a lot from Dr. Nataliey Bitature. And as you've heard, she has had different trainings with people. She has been able to learn how to teach. She's a manager. At the same time, you can find her different courses, because she does self-improvement for the ladies. She runs a project called Her. And you can find the course outlines. You can sign up for the courses at www.nataliebitature.com. Nataliey is N-A-T-A-L-I-E-Y. N-A-T-A-L-I-E-Y. Nataliey. Thank you very much, Nataliey.
Oh, it was my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
We are so happy to have you here, and I'm sure the viewers are going to enjoy our conversation. If they have any other questions to ask her in regards to business process management, you can email us at info@linsedpartners.com. info@linsedpartners.com. For any other courses or any other work that you can find Dr. Nataliey Bitature at www.nataliebitature.com. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Yeah.